Hello and welcome to today's session on the Work Out Loud community with the title Automated Excel Upload via SystemLink and Uploadia CLI. My name is Julia and I'm responsible for the internal and external marketing at MJR since over 1 year now. Me and my colleague Demian are presenting our Uploadia CLI feature today. Let's start with the agenda. So here's the agenda to our today's session, the automated Excel upload via SystemLink and Uploadia CLI. For the people who don't know us so far, I will quickly introduce to our company MJR. Then Demian will do the basic introduction and show some samples for Uploadia and show the Uploadia CLI. And after that, we can have a question and answer. So we are located in Knittlingen in the south of Germany. Here you can see some picture of our beautiful landscape and some historical buildings of our region. MJR is doing some business in ERP, IoT, in output management. We do integration, also mobile solutions, and of course, software service and support for our customers. Here you have a quick overview over our team with about 20 people from over 5 countries and speaking 10 languages. And together we are one team, MJR. A short hint that we are taking part on the InPower, which is already next week. And we are taking part there this year for the 2nd time already. So if you are visiting the InPower, feel free to visit us there also. So for Uploadia, we created an extra landing page with all information. We also have a Uploadia user guide, which is coming soon in a new version. Also, we have the Uploadia changelog on our website and in the Uploadia installation itself. We also have created a video about Uploadia CLI, which is available public on YouTube. And now I will hand over to my colleague Demian. So Demian, stage is yours.
Then I will start sharing my screen with the presentation. And if you have any questions in between technical things or while I show some stuff, just ask it in the chat and we can look at it in the meanwhile. For Uploadia itself is a web-based application. So it's fully running in your browser and it's not required that you install any components on the computers of your users. So just one installation on most likely the IBM I, where your XA is running, and you can use it in the whole company. You can also set it up with HTTPS, encryption, and such things. In general, Uploadia is made to be very easy in usage. So there are no technical skills required, no coding skills, and you also do not need to be a technical guy to use Uploadia. It's made for the end users. Of course, you need to have knowledge about XA and the data in there, but it's not for the technical guys. And it's also not built for some specific processes in XA. It's made to be very flexible for all business objects in your XA environment. This also covers custom things you have maybe changed in your XA environment. And all of this is possible because Uploadia is using SystemLink, the API of InfoXA, which covers all these data validations and checks. Here you can see a quick overview of how Uploadia is working, how the flow is working. You have an Excel file in the beginning. You're supporting the formats XSLX and CSV file, which we got recently with the last update, this CSV support. Then the Uploadia application is taking all this data with the mapping the users are doing and then it's sent to the SystemLink server, and from there it goes to Info.xa, and at the SystemLink server, all the data validation and checks are happening. So this is also nothing Uploadia does. So all your data is really validated within your Info.xa system, and possibly you have done some changes to the system, some extra user exits, custom logic in there. All of this is fully validated as it's using SystemLink. Like I said, the default API with SystemLink. So if you have, for example, also some custom business objects in your environment, some extension objects, or even own primary objects to build new flows in your ERP, then all of this can also be used with Uploadia. And in general, Uploadia covers all the master data in Info.xa, orders, everything you have business objects for, and also transactions. So if you want to do, for example, manufacturing transactions like IP transactions, RM transactions, or warehouse things like TW, you can also do them with Uploadia. For the transactions, there are some transactions which are not in the client yet. So they are not available in PowerLink, then they are also not available in Uploadia, as they are missing in SystemLink. But the basic rule is, if something is available in PowerLink, then you can also do it with Uploadia. In terms of security, Uploadia has the benefits that there is not much to do from our side. We do not have an own authentication system and security system. So all of this is handled by XA. So if your user is allowed to log in into XA and do some specific things in XA, then they can also do it with Uploadia. But if they don't have the permissions to do these things in XA, then they are also not able to do this with Uploadia. And this is, again, a reason why we are using SystemLink. And this is a good way of working with XA. So for today, I want to look at a basic example of uploading item revision base prices, an example some of you may have already seen. I will first do it in the Uploadia UI that the guys of you who have not seen Uploadia so far can see how it's working, how it's done. And then I will do the same with the Uploadia command line interface, which we got new with the last update. And once this is done, we can look at another more complex scenario, uploading a bill of material with bill of material components. We can first do it in the UI, and then we can also do it in the command line interface to see how these things are working. And like I said in the beginning, in case there are some questions, just let me know. Okay, so let's get to browser. Firefox in my case. Uploadia can be used with Firefox or any Chromium-based browsers. So Edge, Google Chrome, and so on. The only thing that's not working is Internet Explorer. But yeah. When you load the page of Uploadia, in our case, this is the address of the IBMI, and then /Uploadia. Then you have this web page here. This is the login page of Uploadia. And here you enter your XA credentials. So in my case, my user profile. Then you can select an environment, which is available on your system, and a language. In case you need the manual, this is available here at the bottom. It will just link to our website, and the changelog is above, whatever changed with the Uploadia versions. Then we can log in. At the same time, I have already opened a netlink session, which we will use to look at the changes we did to XA. Okay, then for the first example, with uploading a base price, we need an Excel file for. And the Excel file for item revision base price looks like the following. Yeah, there we are. This can be closed. And there we have the Excel file. In general, to the Excel files, there are not much requirements. You can have the data and columns ordered in the way you want. The only requirement is to have this first row with the headings which will then be displayed in Uploadia, that you can see what your data is related for. But everything else, how many rows you have, how the rows are ordered, what rows you have, or if you have some blank rows in between or some rows that are not used, doesn't matter. It's just required to have these first line with descriptions. And then to the data we see here, it's quite basic: site item number, and then the date where these prices are valid from, the prices itself, and the unit of measure. And for the date, something which was also added with the one of the last Uploadia updates, that you can use the actual Excel date formatting. So this is now a format we are using in Germany, and we should, by the way, change this to the current date for our upload. So we'll just paste this here, like this. Earlier, in the earlier versions, it was required to type it in the XA format for the SystemLink server. Oh, there's a question: which date format is available on the system? Yeah, you can use any format which is in Excel. So when you go to the formatting of Excel, then you can use any of those date formats which you have in Excel. So the one you wrote there with the US format, month, day, and year, you can also use it, yes. Or I could also use a date where the months are written as a text, something like this, to make it a bit larger, would also work. 5th of September. And Uploadia is detecting automatically that this is a date field in Excel, and is converting it in the background to the correct XA format. So go back to this. Yeah, this is the Excel file. So we'll save this and close it. So we are back at Uploadia, and here we need to upload the Excel file now. The way to do so is from Gail, yeah, the XA expected format. Yeah, the century digit. XA is using the century digit in the database, correct? And in SystemLink server, we just the Excel file quickly. In the SystemLink server, XA is not using the century digit anymore. So also when you have the century digit in the database, in the SystemLink server, you're working with this format for the current date. And in the earlier versions of Uploadia, you were required to enter this date. And what we have extended now is that Uploadia can detect date formatting of Excel and convert it automatically to this formatting here, which is required at the SystemLink server. But the century digit was never used by SystemLink or Uploadia. This is just when you write something directly to the database. I hope this answers your question. Okay. Then you can save this. And now to upload the Excel file into Uploadia, I can, if I place my Windows Explorer here, just do drag and drop, put it over here. Or the other way, I click here on this cloud icon, and then I get select file dialog from Windows and can just choose something. Okay, now we have the Excel file in here. In case your Excel file would contain multiple Excel sheets, they would all be displayed here in this list. And now I can drag and drop this over, this Excel file in the middle to the mapping area. And then I can see my columns from the Excel file. In here, we see why it is so important to have these descriptions, that you know what was this data for. So site, item number, and so on. In general, this left side here is for the Excel files. There all your Excel files will be listed you're using. And on the left side, you have all the business objects from XA. And it's a long list. We have a search on top. So if I, for example, need item revision, oh, it's not typing. No. Item revision, I can search for item revision, and then I see here direct the item revision base price, what we want to use now. It's also possible to hit this small star over here, and then the objects will go to the top. They are favorite now for my user profile. And yeah, we take the base price now and place it also in the middle. And now Uploadia is retrieving the attributes from XA. And again, if you would have modified your system now, for example, with an extension file to add some more attributes, more user fields or something to this object, then they would be available in here. As Uploadia is retrieving all this structural data live from your system when you do something in here. At the bottom of Uploadia, we have kind of tabs that you can see the processes running. So whenever I start this upload now, and let's assume it takes 2 hours, then I'm not blocked. So I can just open a new tab, a new process at the bottom, and work with some other things. So for our specific use case with the base prices, we need to do the mapping now. So this means we take the Excel columns and drop it onto the attributes on the XA side or in the other direction. So I can take this side and drop it here on side, and then we can see they disappear, and at the bottom, the connection between both appears. The orange things means that they are key fields in InfoXA, and all the gray things are usual fields in InfoXA. So let's continue with item number, item revision, the date, the price, and the pricing unit of measure. The order in which I map these things does not matter, and the direction in which I map does also not matter. It's just the result which needs to be correct. Then I could save this mapping to be reused later and give it a name, or I can just hit upload and it would also work. For now, I will save this mapping. So I will call it work out loud 23 underscore base price, something like this. And then we can see this name at the top here, and it would appear in my list with the mappings I have. So now I can upload this mapping. Ooh, this doesn't look good. What is wrong here? Let's quickly see the Excel file. It looks like I messed up something in the Excel file. 1 second. Oh, I'm not sure. It could be because I started to change some values around there. Sometimes you then have like empty rows, which will get confusion to the process. Quickly save it again. In case you have something like this and you need to do changes to your Excel file, could also be due to an actual error message on your data, then you delete the Excel file from Uploadia, and then you re-upload it for the changes to actually take effect in Uploadia. You cannot change the Excel file and then just continue to work in Uploadia. When you change the Excel file, you need to delete it there and upload it again. So the process was already deleted in Uploadia. And now we can directly see why it's useful to have a mapping. I can just select the mapping over here. And with the new uploaded Excel file, it's automatically selecting the business object I had and is doing the correct mapping with these attributes here. So let's hope that it's working now. Oh yeah, there we can see. So it was because I typed the date for Gale at the bottom and removed just the value, but somehow Excel managed then to add empty rows there. Okay, now we see the result. And while the rows were in gray, Uploadia was processing this data. And now they got colors. And green means we have a successful uploaded data. And the red means there is an error message. But if we have something working, then we can go to XA now and see the results. So I go to engineering, EPDM, item revision base price. So, and we are at a release 10 environment. So I could use the row filters in that link. I really like them. And here I can select current date. And then we can see we have uploaded these prices over here. And we have missing item number 2 and 5. And this is the item numbers we have an error over here. And when we click on it, can you undo what was loaded? Undoing means to delete these records from XA, and technically, yeah, this is also possible. I could use the same Excel file. I will just show it here. Use the same Excel file, or I mean, I've saved the mapping, so I could use this mapping. And then on the top, there is an option to select the action. So now I've selected to create these records, and I could also switch here to delete these records. So then Uploadia would now run delete operations for each of those records if they are available in XA. So to answer the question, there is no actual undo, which is like being in this process and noticing, oh, this was wrong. I press Control Z like in Word, and then it's undone. But yes, you can also delete records from XA if you uploaded something which you do not want to be in the system. I hope this answers the question. So we looked at the red rows, and when I click on it, then we can see the error message, which was coming directly from XA. In this case, it's the price unit of measure was not found in the system, and that's correct. The price unit of measure each does not exist in our German system. So now I need to correct the data to match the correct unit of measure of our system. One way would be to go to the Excel file, change it, re-upload it like we saw it before with the error message. And another way for such small issues or typos or such things is to double-click on this cell, and then you can change the value in here directly in Uploadia. If you just have a small amount of errors, this is useful. So you can do this one. Now it's on ST, but the row is still in red. And for the other one, I will also change it here. There is also the possibility, for example, if I have a lot of rows, then I don't want to scroll through all that things. I just want to know how many errors do I have, what errors are these, but I don't care about the green rows because they were working. Then I could go up here to select errors and say all rows or only the error messages, and then all the green ones would disappear. And there are some more extended functionalities to filter between different type of error messages, but that's not so important for now. Just that you know, you can select the error messages there. So now we have changed the values, but they're still in red. So we need to select the rows. So I can press Control to select multiple, or Shift like you would do it in Windows Explorer. And then I go on Resend Selection to resend the rows. And you see they turned green now. It was really fast. And then when I go to XA, then I can refresh here. And we see it was working. We have our new prices in the system. So this was working now. And now I would like to show you how the exact same thing can be done with the command line interface, which is the next step to do some automated processing with Uploadia. As a starting point, we have our Excel file again. And I have placed it here in a directory, which is on the IBMI. So IP address of our IBMI, there I have a folder created in the Uploadia folder, which is called CLI test. This is not required to have this specific path, so you can have just any path on the IBMI where you place the file. There's another question. Can I extract those errors in one Excel file for review? Yes, you can do so. There is a button on the top. It's called Download Data. And when you click this file, Uploadia is generating a CSV file for you, which contains the data you're seeing in here, and a status and the error message in case there is an error message. And then you can use the status to filter in Excel, see just the error messages, and then review what exactly is wrong. So yeah, this is available. In case you want to see it, we can also look at it later. Just remind me at the end of the session. Okay. CLI test folder. I have the Excel file with the base prices again. We'll open it and go. There it is. Yes, I want to change it. It's a trustful source. our IBMI. And the date should also be changed, but we can't use today anymore as we have already created prices for today. But I think we can create prices for tomorrow. So like this, we copy it down. So there we are ready. Our Excel file is prepared. And I think we should not have these empty rows below, but just to be on the safe side, we will delete here too. Okay, save it. Then I will close the Excel file. And what we have here is the mapping file. The mapping file is just a JSON file. Looks like this. There are some technical guys here. They would understand how this is working. We have just one create transaction, and then we have the mapping here of column A is the site, column B was the item in XA, and so on. But I was just opening the file to show you. In general, these files should not be opened or changed by you. It's a mapping file which you will already retrieve by Uploadia. So you do not need to create this file on your own. To get this file, you go to the Uploadia data folder. This is also all in documentation, so you do not need to remember this now. And there is a folder per user with the mappings, and there you can see this is the mapping I've saved right now in our session, Workout Loud 23 base price. And you can just copy this over or leave it like it is and copy the path of it to be used in the CLI. So we have the mapping and we have the Excel file, and that's everything you need to run an automated upload. And to do so, you then need to have the command to run it. And I have already prepared one, and I will open it here in Notepad. Looks like this. We are invoking the Uploadia application, and then we have the parameters I, which is the input file, and N for the name of the sheet inside this Excel file, as you could have multiple. Then M for the mapping file, which is the JSON file. And here you could just enter the path of the file wherever it's stored in Uploadia directory, or you copy it out like I did. O for the output file. So this is like the question from the chat, like when I download something from Uploadia, a CSV result file, the same result will also be saved if you use the command line. Username, password, XA environment, system name, and language. And that's everything you need. Again, all of these informations then will also be in the documentation where you can look it up. Yeah, and then I can take this command and close this, go to my green screen. There it is. Start the shell and can place it here. So like this. Yeah, it's everything here. Environment, system, and so on. And when I run this command, Uploadia does in the end the same as when I do it with the UI. It's starting to pass the Excel file. It's taking the mapping to connect these columns. And then it's processing the results with SystemLink. There you can see, total we have 10 rows. At the beginning, nothing was processed. Uploadia was waiting for the result in XA. Then the same thing 1 second later. And then we got the result. We have 8 rows which were successfully uploaded and 2 rows in error, the same like we got with Uploadia. And if we refresh this folder now, there we can see we have the base price results CSV file. And when I open it, then it is this status file, or this file from the upload. So we can see we have our data in here, which we've uploaded. Here is the status. So I could just enable filtering here in Excel to see only the errors, for example. And then for the error message, it's a little tricky because we are having a CSV file. So the error message is here fully. but it was not visible in the beginning because Excel was making it smaller, the row. But here it is, and we can see in the end it's the same. The price was not found, and we need to enter a valid unit of measure. And here for this row, it's exactly the same error message. Yeah, so one possible solution could be take just this file we have here and upload it again. Of course, change the values before, or we change the original file and run it again, or whatever. The idea behind this command line interface, because I said it's for automation, is that you can use any kind of other application or a script or whatever to run processes with Uploadia. So one possible solution to this could be that you would define a folder structure on your IBMI, a shared folder, which your users can mount on their Windows computer. We'll close this file. And then you define a folder there, it's called input, and then you have another one, it's maybe output or whatever, where the file will then go. And then you run a small script on your IBMI, which is just detecting when there is something in this folder. Then it's building automatically the Uploadia command. You can maybe also do one folder per predefined mapping. So if you have one process which is always the same, like updating new prices monthly maybe, then you as a technical guy can create these mapping ones, create the folder on their IBMI, make a small script which is detecting whenever someone is placing an Excel file inside this folder for prices. The script will build the Uploadia command based on this file and run the processing. And once the processing is done, it will be moved to another folder, something like this. We have not intended to build this, for example, folder structure thing into Uploadia, because then you are more flexible as technical guy, because you can also build something based on emails maybe. Your users will send something to an email address, and then it is received by another inbox, and it will do something, and in the end, call the Uploadia command. And there are no limitations, so you can be creative, and with any kind of script or program or whatever, call these commands to run something automatically with Uploadia. Okay, so any questions so far to this CLI ability of Uploadia? And do you want to see the same thing with the bill of material?
We would have 7 minutes left from the session, so if there is no question at the moment, maybe we can do the second sample.
Okay, then we will do so. For a bill of material, I have this example file. The difference between simple base prices and the bill of material is that your bill of material is built of one bill of material header and then multiple bill of material components. And this is how the Excel file would look for this. So we have these first 5 columns. So site, item, description, and the standard quantity, which is the header. And then we have the components, which are different item numbers in here, a quantity, and the operation where first used. Here, this header row is also 5 times in there for every component, but in the system, actually, it's just created once. So Uploadia will do something like this and ignore the data in here. And then we have the components over here. If I would have multiple bill of materials in this Excel file, which would also work, then it would just look like this maybe. And here, of course, the parent item would be different. And the items would also be different. But in general, you can have as many bill of materials as you want with as many components as you want. And this is the same concept for bill of material, purchase order, customer order, and all objects in XA. And you're also not limited to a level of 2 objects. You can also have some parent with detail and another detail below. This could be a price book, for example. There you have the price book header, a price book version, and below you have the actual quantity price breaks. And there is also no limit, so it's not just 3, it's 4, 5 you can do. Question in the chat. I heard this can be running any platform. I'm right? This can run in batch file Windows. Yes, you can run Uploadia on IBMI. You can run it on Windows and Linux system in any way. And we have also batch files available. If you run, yes, for the CLI, we have also batch files. So if you install the Uploadia on a Windows computer, you would invoke a batch file instead of SH. So this is available. So if you are planning to install Uploadia and on a Windows, that would also work. Yeah, you can do so. But currently we have no customer doing this. They are all installing it on the IBMI and use. I think that could change with the CLI, because for the CLI it could be that it's not planned users to access the Uploadia, or for whatever reason it's easier to place these files on a Windows server. And yes, it's then available as batch. So this was the layout of the bill of material file. So what Uploadia needs to start up on a different system. Not sure what exactly you mean with the question, Gail. You can run Uploadia on any system. So if you install it on a Windows computer, you can also use it on the browser in this machine. It would work. Or if you have it from the firewall rules, if it's possible on the firewall level, you can also start it on one computer and access it on the other computer. If you run to Uploadia from another system, let's say Windows. If you want to run Uploadia on a Windows system, you can do it, and you do not need any setup on the IBMI then, if this is the question. With the command line, can we run it from bat and start an automation on the iSeries? Oh, now I got a question. Okay, if Uploadia is installed on the IBMI, then the file you want to process needs to be on the same system. So you need to transfer the Excel file somehow first to the IBMI. This can be, for example, done on a batch file, which you then can create on your own, or you can upload your installation, which is directly installed on this Windows computer. And then you can just invoke the batch file we have for Uploadia, which does the processing. But if you want to use the CLI, your Excel file needs to be on the system where the Uploadia instance is installed.
We can try it. I think the session will not be quit. So if you will quickly show it to us, we can.
Then I will close the Excel file and go back to my browser. We should first see if this bill of material is already existing in XA. In case it does, which I assume, then we need to delete it first. Otherwise, we could get error messages in Uploadia. And is it here? Let's see the item number. It's parent item 37. And no, that's not available. So very good. We can create a new process. We upload our bill of material file. And to save some time, I can just use my predefined mapping for bill of material. The big difference here is on the top, we can see we have now 2 actions. So with this new button here at the end, you can create as many transactions as you need. The first one is for the bill of material. You can also see it when you hover over it. And the second one is for the bill of material component. So these 2 transactions are for 2 separated business objects. And then the mapping done here is, of course, the header attributes, description, standard quantity, and here it's the keys. And then the component attributes like quantity and the operation we first used. Yeah, if you want to see more in detail about this, you can just contact us or look at the documentation. We'll upload it now. And here we see the rows from the Excel file. And it's processing, turned green. And when we refresh in XA, then we can see our bill of material in here. And here we have the components from the Excel file. So this was working. And by the way, when you go to the maintenance history, then we could see here, current date, we did a creation of the bill of material and the bill of material components below, because as we are using SystemLink, like everything in Uploadia, it's fully supporting maintenance history, recent tracking, and so on. So, you can close this. Okay, there we are. And with the command line interface, this would work just the same as the previous example, just a different Excel file and a different mapping. And then in the end, you will get the result in the command line and see how many rows of how many were in successful uploaded or how got an error message. So I'm at the end of my presentation now.
Okay.
And you can ask questions in case there are some.
Maybe you can show quickly our last page of the presentation with our contacting information. So if there are questions after the session, which was not mentioned in the chat, you can also contact us through email or through our social media. Just write us and we can also answer the questions after the session. But feel free to send some questions in the venue chat now. Thanks for your feedback, Gail. Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Then I think we're at the end. Thank you, Damian, for demonstrating. And thank you to all attendees for listening and asking the questions. And hope to hear from you and see you next time and maybe on the Empower next week. So, bye-bye.
Bye.